Is that comfortable? In the background? Great. Let's see, we have here Joe, hello, and Tatiana, hello, Leah, good morning, Darcy, hi, and Bonnie, hi, and Lance, good morning. My name is Vito, and you all saw the safety video in the van. It covered everything really well. I'm just going to point out the location of the air sickness bags. The pocket up front and the pockets behind the seat. Don't be shy about using them. If you're feeling uncomfortable anytime during the flight, just take a bag. Better to have it with you and not need it. You can always put it back at the end of the flight. Also, if you see my lips move but you don't hear anything, you're not having a problem with your headset. I'm just on another radio talking to the tower or other aircraft. And the video is on, whatever's on the screen, plus all the audio, it's all being recorded on DVD. All right, beautiful day today. Okay, well. Okay, we're clear. The airport, this is Kehi Lagoon down here below us. And in front of us, Honolulu Harbor and Sand Island. Directly in front of us on the other side of the harbor is the Aloha Stadium. I'm sorry, the Aloha Tower and Marketplace. So a lot of very nice shops down there, plenty of places to eat. And coming up on our right side on Sand Island is our Coast Guard base. On our left, the Aloha Tower and Marketplace. The building on our left with the green roof, that's the University of Hawaii's Medical School, and this is Kaka'ako Park. And in front of us, the two Atlantis submarines going out to their mooring point just off of Waikiki. The commercial boat harbor, Kailo Basin. If you're going fishing or taking a dinner cruise, you probably leave from here. And Ala Moana Beach Park, considered to be one of the nicer beaches on the island. Very family friendly. The beach is well protected by the reef. Lots of parkland, and all the major shopping malls are across Ala Moana Boulevard. And Magic Island and the Alawa Yacht Harbor, that's the same harbor that Gilligan left from on that fateful cruise not that long ago, many years ago. And this is Magic Island. And Waikiki Beach begins on our left at the Hilton Rainbow Tower and Lagoon. All the parkland behind the Hilton and to the right of it, that's all Fort de Rusi, the Armed Forces Recreation Center. The two buildings in the middle of the park, that's the Military Hotel. Looks like they're having a function down there today. Halikoa, House of the Warrior. And lots of surfers in Waikiki. Good surfing all year round. Water's usually pretty clear here. I'm going to do a little S-turn up here so we can all have a nice look at Waikiki. Looks like it's going to be a great day for the beach. In front of us, the Honolulu Zoo, Kapiolani Park, the aquarium just in front of us on the shoreline, and of course Diamond Head Crater. Diamond Head is probably one of the most recognizable natural landmarks on the planet. It's about 250,000 years old, 770 feet at the top. Inside the crater, it's occupied by the National Guard and the Civil Defense Command Post. But it is open to the public. You can walk in, drive in, or take one of the trolleys that goes into Diamond Head. There's a hiking trail inside the crater on our right. Zigzag trail goes right up to the top where there are World War II bunkers and observation posts. Part of the trail goes right through the crater's rim, and it's a very popular trail. And the entrance to Diamond Head is just down here on our right. Some of them, and on the island, probably in the entire state, is along this shoreline between Diamond Head and Portlock at Cocoa Head. On our left front is the Waialae Championship Golf Course where the Sony Open is being played. I think today is the final day, I think, I'm not sure. And on the shoreline next to the golf course, the Kahala Resort. That's a 5-star resort. There's a large pool beneath the building. It's Dolphin Quest where you can swim with dolphins. And if anyone remembers seeing the TV show Magnum P.I., the King Kamehameha Club where Magnum and all his friends used to hang out at the beach, that was filmed down there at Kahala. And I'll show you a couple of more spots in a few minutes. Coming up on our left side is Hawaii Lower Ridge. A lot of very nice homes up there, also a pretty expensive neighborhood. So it'll take you from there offshore to the reefs. You can also jet ski and parasail out here. Hawaii Kai is the eastern edge of Honolulu, man-made islands and waterways. Before this area got developed a long time ago by Henry J. Kaiser, it was all swampland. And about 31 miles away out there in front of us, you can just make out the island of Molokai. Can't see any of the other islands beyond that, Lanai, Koholalani, Maui, or the Big Island. And snorkeling, if you want to snorkel, on our right front is Hanauma Bay, and that's considered to be just about the best snorkeling spot on the island. It's an extinct volcanic crater. The eastern rim of the crater collapsed thousands of years ago. Lots of fish and coral, and it's open every day except Tuesdays. About a 30-minute drive from Waikiki, Hanauma Bay, a top spot. At the crater, there's a hiking trail along the rim that goes to the top. Inside the crater, there's a dry soil botanical garden. This is the Kalanianiole Highway. It goes all the way around the island from Waikiki up around Diamond Head, Cocoa Head, up along the windward side of the island, up to the North Shore. In fact, we're going to follow the road pretty much for most of its length. And up at the North Shore town of Haleiwa, the highway splits in two and goes down through the middle of the island, through the pineapple fields, back to Honolulu. It's a very nice drive. I always recommend it. About 115 miles round trip. Lots of places to stop, walk around, sightsee, eat. On our right is Sandy Beach and Sandy Beach Park. The beach is popular with bodyboarders and the park with kite flyers. And in front of us, Makapu'u Point and the Makapu'u Lighthouse just on the other side of the point. There's an excellent hiking trail there. It starts at the parking lot, winds up to the top where there are World War II bunkers and observation posts. And part of it, and it goes up to the gate at the lighthouse. Rabbit Island on our left front. Can everyone see the head of the rabbit with his nose just above the water, facing to the right? This ridgeline on our left is a very popular hang gliding spot. A little early for hang gliders, but they probably will be out here a little later today. And on our left front, Sea Life Park. And on our right front is the Makapu'u Lighthouse. Magnum PI, a lot of it was filmed up here too back in 1980 to 88 with Tom Selleck. The jetty out the left, that's where TC used to keep his helicopter. And the Robin Masters estate where Thomas Magnum lived just up the road a little bit. It's the large property right next to the beginning of the tidal pool. Big main house and guest house by the beach. And a curving dirt road going across the middle of the lawn. Just out the left window now. Robin Masters estate. And this is the town of Waimanalo and Waimanalo Beach. We are now on the windward side of the island. And windward sides of islands are usually the more beautiful, more spectacular part of an island. It's where most of the erosion has taken place in the mountains from the wind and rain. The Bellows Airfield. Bellows was used during World War II. It's been abandoned as an airfield probably since the war ended, but you can still make out all the runways and taxiways. The military still owns all that land, so occasionally you do see some military activity on the ground. On December 7, 1941, Bellows was hit by the second wave of attacking Japanese planes. Kailua. All that land further out to our front on the other side of that channel, that all belongs to the Marines, and we'll see that a little bit better in a few minutes. First, we're going to head a little bit closer to the mountains. And they stretch all the way up to the North Shore. There are 3 highways that cross the Kolaus from Honolulu. The one in front of us is the Pali Highway. Pali is Hawaiian for cliff. Around the corner are tunnels. Above the tunnels is the lookout. And in the vicinity of the lookout, that's where the last great battle was fought in Hawaii. It occurred in 1795 when King Kamehameha, from the Big Island, he came here with all his warriors to fight the King of Oahu for control of all the Hawaiian Islands. He had already conquered the Big Island, Maui, and Molokai. The Kingdom of Kauai to our northwest gave up without fighting, so only Oahu was left. And the last battle was fought where the lookout is today, just coming into view now above the tunnels. A lot of warriors were killed. Some from Oahu committed suicide by jumping off the Pali rather than be taken prisoner, and many others were pushed over by King Kamehameha's men. When the highway was being built in the late 40s and early 50s, the workers found more than 800 skulls at the base of the Pali. In front of us, the Like Highway going into the ridge, and this road we're just about to fly over is the H3 freeway. Oahu is the 3rd largest island in the chain. It's a little over 600 square miles. The Big Island is the largest at over 4,000 square miles, about the size of Connecticut. And Maui, number 2, at about 725 square miles. This is the Hawaii Veterans Memorial Cemetery on our right. And this is the town of Kaneohe. And Kaneohe Bay, a terrific little bay, great for all kinds of water activities. It's dotted with sandbars and coral reefs, and it's a marine sanctuary. There are a lot of sea turtles in the bay, and they are protected throughout the Hawaiian Islands. The little island in front of us, Coconut Island, once owned by a philanthropist from Honolulu, used as an R&R camp during World War II. When the war ended, he turned the island over to the University of Hawaii so they could use it as an oceanographic and marine research base, which it still is. And locally, it's also known as Gilligan's Island. The opening scene in the first few episodes of the TV show were filmed in the lagoon on the left side of Coconut Island. And in front of us, a good view of the U.S. Marine Corps Air Base at Kaneohe. There are normally P-3C Orions based here, more than 24, and they're submarine hunters, and they patrol the Pacific searching for and trying to keep track of foreign submarines. But because the runway is getting some major repair work done, the Orions are over at Honolulu at Hickam Air Force Base. A lot of helicopters usually here, and a lot of Marines are based here. And on our left. The enclosures that you see along the shoreline, those are ancient Hawaiian fish ponds built between 400 and 500 years ago. Coral. And Chinaman's hat. In Hawaiian mythology, one of the gods from Oahu had a life and death struggle with a giant mystical lizard. Eventually he was able to drown the lizard in Kaneohe Bay, and that's the tip of his tail sticking out of the water. The jetty out the left, that's where the seaplane used to land in the original TV show of Fantasy Island with Ricardo Montalban. The valley in front of us we're going to go into. It's called Ka'ava Valley, and it's privately owned. The valley is owned by the Kualoa Ranch. The ranch house and all their associated buildings, vehicles, stables, restaurant, gift shop, open space where all the buildings and vehicles are, and there are dirt roads going around the corner from the ranch, from the buildings into the ranch in front of us. And Kualoa Ranch is a working ranch. They have cattle and horses, and they do advertise in the visitor magazines. There are a lot of activities that you could do at the ranch. You can go on ATVs, horseback riding, bicycle riding, four-wheel drives and hikes. And the valley is popular with movie makers. This is where Jurassic Park 3 was filmed, Godzilla, Mighty Joe Young, George of the Jungle, The Wind Talker, the Bruce Willis movie Tears of the Sun, 51st Dates did some shooting in here, and lots of other movies. And the TV show Lost has done a lot of filming in the valley. There's some ATVs down there on the road. And some horseback riders coming in from the ranch on our right. I'll do a little turn here so we can get a nice look at the valley from this end. Valley. It's a state park. The bay is sheltered from the strong winds and big surf. A terrific little beach to walk along. It's quiet, tropical. It's almost always deserted. Across the next ridge line in front of us, it'll be in a very tight crevice on our left side, so we'll see it from the left side first for just a few seconds, and then I'll do a sharp turn, and then we'll see it from the right side also for a few seconds. And I'll tell you when it's just about to come into view, so if anyone wants to take a photo or a video, you'll be ready. There should be some water at the falls. We can always use more rain. We have had very little rain over the last really 2 or 3 years, much less than our normal annual average. And we can just get enough to keep everything nice and green, but we kind of drift in and out of drought all the time. And Sacred Fall coming into view out the left window in just another second or two. There it is. As we go forward, we'll see more of it. And I'll turn in just a few seconds. We have over 200 different kinds of trees and more than 75 different types of ferns on the island. These trees on our left side are Norfolk pine trees from Norfolk Island in the South Pacific. You'll see them scattered all around the island. It's a beautiful pine tree. In fact, many people consider Norfolk pines to be the perfect pine tree. And up ahead is the town of Laie, and that's where the Polynesian Cultural Center is located. All those large tent-like buildings, big parking lot, and replica villages of South Pacific Island groups. There are 7 groups represented at the center from Polynesia. In addition to Hawaiians, there are Tahitians, Samoans, Tongans, Fijians, Maoris from New Zealand, and natives from the Marquesas Islands. And the Cultural Center is the most popular paid attraction in the islands. They get over 2,000 visitors a day, and it's open every day except Sundays. And they do put on a terrific show and a great luau. This complex of buildings coming up on our right around the Oval, tennis courts and swimming pool, that's Brigham Young University, Hawaii campus. And not far from BYU, we'll find the Mormon Temple, the white building, other structures in that area on our right front, landscaping all the way down to the highway. The Mormons have been here 159 years. They started the Cultural Center first part of last century, and they operate Brigham Young University. The temple itself is closed in November, and it won't reopen until October this year, undergoing extensive renovations. Agriculture and aquaculture around this part of the island. The large ponds up ahead are mainly shrimp and prawn farms. And we grow pretty much the normal everyday garden variety crops, plus a lot of papaya, mangoes, bananas, avocados. We're starting to grow coffee and corn. Airfield, the airstrip paralleling the shoreline. Some old buildings are still visible and foundations of others. It's all part of the aquaculture scene now. And in front of us, Turtle Bay Resort. Turtle Bay is the only resort on this side of the island. Championship golf course, actually 1.5 golf courses, 27 holes, where the seniors PGA is played every year, and we just had 2 LPGAs up here a little earlier. Turtle Bay. A little bit out of the way, kind of remote, but if you want to be closer to nature or play on a good golf course, or during the winter if you want to do some serious surfing, Turtle Bay. We have a lot of satellite tracking stations all along the North Shore, several dozen dishes, starting with ComSat on our left, going all the way around to Kahina Point and on top of the mountains. Next, in front of us is a large dirt bike track that's used every weekend with racing on Sundays. And it looks like they're all getting ready to start down there. And another 16 satellite dishes in this large open field in front of us, NASA and others. This is the North Shore. During the winter months, we get some of the best surf in the world up here, and many of your surfing championships are held on the North Shore. During the summer, it's like a lake. No surf, no waves, very calm water all summer long. All these beaches all along here, these are all surfing beaches. They all have very colorful names, but probably the 2 most famous beaches on the North Shore, out the right window is Sunset Beach, and in front of us the Banzai Pipeline. And this is where the movie Blue Crush was filmed a few years ago about girl surfers. And, how's everyone feeling? Okay? Okay, great. I'm just going to do some turns here. I'll try to make them nice and shallow and smooth. And we'll just kind of meander in and out along the shoreline. Sunset Beach in front of us. Actually, because of the direction and the wind, not really very good surfing conditions today. Too much white water out here. And the Banzai Pipeline on our right. And we're still looking for whales. Haven't seen any for a while. We're just about in the middle of the whale season. All the cows have given birth to the calves, so they should be just kind of wandering all around the islands until April, and then they head back to Alaska. And this is the road that we've been following from Waikiki. Continues on all the way to Kahina Point, way out there in front of us. On this side of Kahina Point, about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, is the Dillingham Airfield. It's a sports field. If anyone is interested in glider flying or skydiving, you can do it there. And that's where the paved road ends. To get back to Honolulu, you have to go to the town of Haleiwa in front of us, and that's where the highway splits in two and goes down to back to Honolulu. This is Waimea Bay and Waimea Falls Park. The park is a botanical garden. There's a stream running through the park, a restaurant / cafeteria, lots of trails, and a beautiful beach, Waimea Bay. On top of this ridge on our right side, right front, that's the remains of an ancient Hawaiian heiau or temple. And you'll find heiaus on all the major islands. They were built by Hawaiians before the missionaries arrived in 1820. This particular heiau is the best one on Oahu. The best one in Hawaii is on the Big Island in North Kona. And we're going to take a look at the Waimea waterfall. It's only 55 feet tall, but it has a really nice swimming hole, and you often find kids jumping off the ledges into the pool. And this is the only waterfall on the island that they are actually able to turn on and off. And last summer it was off more than it was on. And it'll be down there on our left. There it is, the Waimea waterfall. When there are long periods of low or no rainfall, they turn the waterfall off and divert the water to agriculture. Okay, and you see these reflectors down here along the power lines. The Army and Marine helicopter pilots do a lot of low-level contour flying in the gulches. And all these light green fields all around us. This is where we used to grow sugarcane. We haven't grown any sugarcane on Oahu or the Big Island in a long time, about 15 years. See, the fields are all getting overgrown with trees and shrubs. This was all sugarcane back then. And the Big Island now grows a lot of macadamia nuts. They have the world's largest mac farm on the Big Island. And they grow a lot of coffee, too, especially Kona coffee, the world's best gourmet coffee. Here on Oahu, we grow a lot of pineapples. Across the island, those are the Waianae Mountains, the tallest point on the island in front of us, big satellite dish on the summit, 4,020 feet above sea level. You can easily spend a few hours walking around Haleiwa. It's a surfing town, a lot of surf shops because of all the beaches, but it's getting to be a little bit of an artist community too. A lot of little galleries have been opening up, coffee shops, lots of places to eat. A really nice little country town. And the highway splits in two. There's one in front of us, one on the other side of the pineapple fields going back to Honolulu. Most of this cultivated land in front of us from our far right to our front are pineapples. And the Dole Pineapple Company is the only grower field ever since. It belongs to the Army. On our right, that's all Schofield Barracks out there. The dip in the Waianae Mountains behind Schofield, that's the Koli Koli Pass. And on December 7, 1941, the Japanese aircraft carriers were way out there, out of sight, about 250 miles north of the island. And altogether, they launched 350 airplanes. Some of those planes flew low level through the Koli Koli Pass, and within seconds, they hit Schofield Barracks, then they hit Wheeler, and then continued down to Pearl Harbor. This is the home of the 25th Infantry Division, Tropic Lightning. They have more than 100 helicopters, and they've completed 2 tours overseas, one in Afghanistan, one in Iraq, and they're presently on their second tour to Iraq. is restricted airspace, and we need to get a clearance so we can overfly it. The shopping complex on our right front. That's the Waikele shopping area, exit 7 off the H1 freeway. That's where all the factory outlets are located. And we're still waiting for clearance. Pearl Harbor, narrow entrance, 3 locks. On our right is the west lock. In front of us, where all these ships are, this is the middle lock. And those are all old decommissioned ships. Those are all decommissioned ships. It's a mothball fleet. Whenever there's a big naval exercise in the area, the Navy comes in, takes 1 or more ships out. They use them as targets, and then they eventually sink them. And the water around the Hawaiian Islands, mid-Pacific, very deep, over 18,000 feet. The large white dome in front of us is an X-band radar. It's built on top of a semi-submersible oil rig. It's part of the U.S. anti-missile defense system. It's an anti-ballistic missile target and acquisition radar, and very powerful according to the newspapers. If it was off the east coast of the U.S., it could identify a football being launched over San Francisco. And it's in port for about 6 months, undergoing some upgrading and whatever. And on December 7, 1941, there were ships all over Pearl Harbor, but all the big ships were around Ford Island in front of us in the middle of the East Lock. The battleships, the heavy cruisers, the destroyers, sometimes 2 and 3 deep, plus the airfield in the middle of the island. On this side of Ford Island, on our left, in front of that little white pier with the American flag, that's the USS Utah battleship. It's on its side. The Utah and the Arizona are the only 2 ships that are still underwater. On this side of Fort Island, the USS Missouri, the Mighty Mo, the last of the great battleships that were built, served in 3 wars, Second World War, Korea, and Desert Storm. And the USS Arizona. When the Arizona was hit, it only took about 9 minutes for it to sink with 1,177 sailors and Marines on board. Many of them are still entombed on the aircraft, on the wreckage. You can see the Missouri underneath the memorial. And in front of us, about 6 or 7 surface warships to our front. Submarines are on our left. Looks like 6 submarines are in port today. Pearl Harbor is home to a large fleet of attack submarines. and most of them are usually out to sea. And on our right side is Hickam Air Force Base. Lots of transports, tankers, F-15 and F-16 fighters. And all the submarine hunters lined up over there from the Marine base. This is all Air Force and Navy housing all around us, including the Navy Marine Corps golf course in front of us and all the homes around that. And a lot of new housing being built for the Navy and Air Force. A lot of military around here. Listen to the tower while we're crossing the runways.
20 Hello Tower, report a Foxtrot position on tax landing on runway. For Foxtrot position at Hawaii 2.
If anyone would like to have photos or videos taken standing in front of the helicopter, whoever deboards you, probably Braun, he'll be very happy to do that for you. And please be careful getting off the helicopter. Use the steps on top of the skids. Thank you very much for flying with us. I hope you enjoyed the flight.